Hey everyone, it's Adam Sellers here, and I'm with Behind the Key. Today, I'm with Amy T of Health Markets Insurance Agency, where she helps people find health, Medicare, life, and supplemental coverage that fits their needs and their budget. Really excited to have you today, Amy.
Well, Adam, I am blessed for the invitation. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and talk to you and your audience about health and Medicare and all things important.
Well, right, because one of the biggest things I say, and I hear a lot of people say, is health is wealth, right? And it's a big challenge, I think, along the path of understanding that. And then there's also a financial implication behind understanding your health, because it can get out of hand really quickly.
Yes.
So I'm really excited today to dive a little bit into that, dive into you, and dive into your business, but also how you got into this market and trying to figure a little bit about that out. So let's dive in. So what drew you to insurance? Like, when you come into insurance, everyone right now kind of sounds like this is a hard job. Like, you can't be easy. There's lots of regulation. Like, what drew you into helping people get the right coverage?
Yeah, so it's kind of a twofold story for me. I have a health career background. I worked in orthopedic rehab for about 10 years after I got out of college. And I really saw how health insurance drove some of the treatment parameters. It was, hey, the person has this type of injury, we're going to approve him for 6 treatments. It didn't matter how he progressed or didn't progress. Someone at a desk said 6 treatments, and that's what we're going to approve for. So that was kind of my first exposure to health insurance, as well as my own journey with multiple orthopedic injuries due to participating in sports and whatnot, being exposed to what was covered and what wasn't. But when I really delved down into it, why I want to be in health insurance, turning 65, losing group coverage, retiring, these are very emotional life moments.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm very good at being the calm in that. And I have a natural teaching style that kind of brings calm to the situation and can help people get through that.
Yeah, because you can't avoid getting to 65. You can only just get there and figure out how to handle it, right?
We can't stop that. We're all going to get there. We're all going to get
Congratulations, you've earned the right, at least, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so was there, outside of just that experience with the group stuff, was there a moment that really, like, you're like, this is what I need to do, and this is why I need to do it?
Yeah, so it was very interesting. So in my mid-20s, I kind of started discovering about myself that I had an entrepreneurial spirit.
Right.
Didn't really know what I wanted to do or what direction I wanted to take it in. So I was kind of just exploring. And there was a recruiting event for health insurance agents at a hotel. It was a massive event. It was in a conference room. There were hundreds of people there. They had a very professional presentation. They talked a lot about, you can make so much money and earn trips and make a bonus and da-da-da-da-da. And I walked away from it thinking, man, that sounds kind of like a scam. But it never left me. It was always in the back of my head, health insurance, health insurance. And in 2018, 2019, I was at a crossroads in my personal life, in my professional life. And I said, let's do it. It's been on my mind for 30 years. Let's do it. So here I am. I got my health insurance license, my Medicare license, got contracted with Health Markets, and I just, I really saw, especially with the coming on of Obamacare, the ACA, people on social media just arguing about it's going to work, it's not going to work, it's the best thing ever, it's the worst thing ever. I was like, I really saw that as an opportunity for me to use my skills to help people navigate that scenario.
I kind of fell into the healthcare world too before real estate, where it was like, yeah, this is a great time when I helped convert paper to electronic medical records. And I was like, yeah, this is a big deal. Who knew what it would turn into now, where how many people do you typically support in a year?
Hundreds.
Wow. A lot of this, like you said, is emotional. Some of it's tactical. Some of it's technical.
Yep.
How do you balance that when you're talking to somebody? So
Sure.
How do you balance the emotional feeling of being 65, the tactical part of there's so many options out there in this world that I can do that are going to be there. I'm sure I can go get any, but some of those do cost a lot more. And then the technical part of like, what's going on in my body that may potentially change some of that too.
Yeah. So really, the technical part
Yeah.
is my responsibility. The emotional part, that comes from the client. And I'm going to respect both of them, both of those parts when working with somebody. So I want to master the details so they don't have to. They don't have to worry about that. That's my role. Let me worry about the technical part of that plan or what that process is to enroll in Medicare. I'm going to hold your hand and walk you through that. Is it still going to be emotional for them? Sure, that's natural. Hey, I'm 65, I'm retiring, I'm going into the next chapter of my life. What's going to happen? What's my health going to be? And that's okay. But I'm gonna ask questions before I present any solutions. And we're gonna have that conversation. What do you need? What's your lifestyle gonna be? What is the next chapter of your life look like? All of those are important. And what are your health needs? So I want to get all that information before I start presenting any type of solution. So I want to be structured, but I want to be calm for the client through that process. I have to be direct. I got to say this is going to cost this much.
Right.
But I also want to bring calmness to the situation as well, and I want to be informative without overwhelming them, making sure they understand the process, what it is they're enrolling in, but not overwhelm them with so much information that it just causes more confusion.
Yeah, because there can be a lot to get really confused about. I'm not even 65, and I'm already confused with self-employed insurance. So
Sure.
I can imagine. I know it gets definitely more tactical. So when you come in and you're doing all this stuff with the client, what's most misunderstood about the process? Because for me, I'm just thinking I just go sign up and I'm okay and life's good. But what am I what's most misunderstood when you first meet up with somebody?
Yeah. So there's several things that can be easily misunderstood. One of the biggies is that the cheapest plan is okay. I'm healthy. It's okay. I'm just going to pick the cheapest.
Could I say I've fallen victim to that already?
It sounds like it. It sounds like it.
I'm 41 and fine. Nothing's
right.
wrong.
Nothing's wrong. Nothing's going to happen to me. I got armor around me all day long.
Right.
And what happens in that case, a lot of times you underestimate the risks that you're taking and the gaps in that insurance. The risks.
Okay. What? Tell me more about that.
So there's risks every day.
Yeah.
There's the unknown risk of getting in an accident.
Yeah.
You can step off the curb wrong, slip down your stairs, step in a hole, get in a car accident. It's an unknown. Nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody's going to know. Maybe you've had something going on inside and you're kind of putting it off. I'll deal with that tomorrow. I'll deal with that tomorrow.
I bet there's no guy that you've met that's ever said that to
Right,
you.
right. You men are classic for it. So, and if you go with the cheapest, maybe it's not okay. Maybe it is okay. Maybe it is fine.
For now.
But, if you're just picking it because it's the cheapest and you tell yourself it's okay, it may not be. Also, as far as like Medicare goes, people don't realize how Medicare decisions, some of them can be permanent.
Oh, wow.
As far as if you don't enroll correctly, you could face a lifetime penalty. It's a penalty that never goes away, and you're paying extra.
That seems unfair. Lifetime, though.
It's lifetime.
Oof.
There are some exceptions where it could be removed, but it's the exception. Also making the assumption that all plans are the same. So that goes back to the cheapest is okay because, hey, they're all the same anyway. It doesn't matter. Every plan is different as far as the network, the doctors, the hospitals they cover, drug coverage. What's that cost for a generic drug? What's it cost for a brand name drug? What's the deductible on the plan? What's my max out of pocket? And that could be a biggie. If you have surgery scheduled or you're dealing with a major medical issue, we want to protect you financially as well as make sure you're getting the right medical care.
Yeah, I mean, you just scared me a little bit. But there's some misunderstandings. I mean, they're important to go into before you meet with someone like you, to have some of these kind of like misunderstood things kind of
Yeah.
in your mind, so that you're able to check, am I falling into that before
Right.
I get through the conversation?
Right.
Because it could be really easy to fall into those gaps, right?
It is very easy. And insurance isn't about hoping nothing happens. It's really about deciding who carries the risk. Do you want to carry the risk, or do you want to transfer that to the insurance company?
I love that quote. Say that again for me.
So insurance isn't about hoping nothing goes wrong.
Right.
It's about transferring the risk
Gotcha.
or deciding who carries the risk. Do you want to carry it, or do you want to transfer that to the insurance company?
Got you. And based on that is how you can make your choices and what you align.
Exactly. So if you're somebody that is willing to carry that risk, then the cheapest plan may be okay.
But inside of that risk comes financial cost.
Yes,
Always.
exactly.
So you're saying the risk is
Exactly.
meaning financial cost.
Exactly.
Those financial costs can be not cheap.
They can be devastating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned Medicare and some of the complexities behind
Yeah.
that, like really making sure someone's able to come into your conversation or a conversation with a health markets expert. Medicare is so confusing for many. I mean, my parents are right here, and I hope they listen to every minute of this episode today, and like maybe take a little bit away too. But and they probably would yell at me right now and say, "Yeah, you're 100% right. We're just as confused as yesterday, but we just sign up for things." What's a common blind spot that you see
Yes.
as you come into Medicare?
Yep. So some of the biggies are not understanding the Part B penalty, which I kind of referred
The
to.
lifetime thing.
So it could be a lifetime penalty if you don't enroll correctly. And it's very confusing for people that are not going to retire at 65 and they have group insurance. Do they have to enroll in Part B even though they're going to keep their group plan? Should they drop their group plan and enroll in Medicare A and B? So that's my role, to help guide them on that, because we don't want someone to end up with a lifetime penalty when it could have easily been avoided if they just had the right information. Another biggie is thinking that Medicare covers everything. One, it's not 100% coverage for what it does cover, but what we call original Medicare doesn't provide coverage for drugs, for your prescription medications. It doesn't provide coverage for dental, for vision, for hearing, which is all very, very important for our health. So that's a discussion that has to be had with the client. Another biggie is not reviewing drug plans annually. So drug coverage changes every year, and it could be what the carrier's formulary is. And the formulary is a list of medications that company is going to cover. They don't have to cover every single drug out there, but they are required to provide coverage for the classes of drugs. But you may have a drug plan today that covers your medication, and come the following January, all of a sudden you didn't review that, and now it's not covered. They've taken it off the formulary, and you're paying out of pocket for that medication.
Yeah, we don't want to be doing that.
Deductibles can change for drug coverage. Copays can change for drug coverage. So all of that needs to be reviewed on an annual basis. You don't ever want to assume, I've got this plan, it works, I'm just going to keep it
Set and
forever.
forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another biggie with Medicare is believing that what your family, your friends, your neighbor has is universal. And I hear this very often when I sit down at the kitchen table with somebody. My neighbor, Miss Jones, has ABC plan, and she says it's great, and that's what I want to get. Well, I'm happy that your neighbor has a plan that works for them. That's super. But it may not be right for you. Your medical needs may be different. Your lifestyle may be different. Your budget may be different. So let's look at that. But I hear that all the time. My sister in New York has this plan, and so I want to get that. Well, the plans in New York are going to be a lot different than the plans in North Carolina.
Right.
So
Cost-wise, too.
yeah, so that's a biggie that I hear. But the biggest blind spot, honestly, Adam, is thinking Medicare is simple. And you and I have already said it. It's complicated, it's confusing, it's overwhelming.
Yeah. You did a great little thing in our BNI the other day of the ABC.
Yeah, tried to simplify it.
And simplifying it really helps. I almost wish you could make a full video of that.
Yeah,
But yeah. And it still was complex at that point. I was like, okay, I
Right.
think I get it, but like maybe not.
So you've got federal, you've got state, you've
Yeah.
got carrier regulations, as well as the individual's health needs, their budget, their lifestyle, all layered together.
So it's important if you're making a move from, say, Ohio or New York to Charlotte, and you're like working with a real estate agent for a reload from a perspective of that. It may be even important if you're over 65 to kind of touch base with someone as you're thinking about that.
Absolutely, because plans are done state to state, and then within that state, they're done county to county.
Huh. Okay. I've never thought about telling my reload clients
Yes.
that fact.
Yes.
That's a good thing to know now.
Yes, so somebody moving from another state, whether it's under 65 insurance or Medicare, they definitely need to have a review.
Before they come or right before, during?
Ideally would be before they
come.
come, so that
Gotcha.
things are in place when they get here.
Gotcha. Because you don't want to wait till later and try to do that. 'Cause it can cause
Right.
some
You don't want to
issues.
wait until all of a sudden something happens and you find out your plan's no good.
What is good education / advocacy have? What does it look like in your world? Like, I think today's a good one. Obviously,
Yeah.
having a podcast like this, but what are some other ways that you know of that gets that has good education and advocacy for this industry?
Yeah, well, the biggest thing is explaining the basics before presenting products.
Yeah.
And, you don't want to walk in and just say, Adam, this is the best plan for you.
why
It's a
not?
great plan. Everybody I'm talking to is signing up for it. Okay, you don't want to do that. You want to sit down, make sure the client understands.
Is
just
that a
the-
red flag for them if someone does come
Oh
to them
my
and
gosh,
say that?
yes.
So should they be instantly
Yes.
thinking, wait, maybe this isn't the right
Maybe
conversation
this isn't
for
the
me
right.
today?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so that's another good little bit of a good gotcha or an aha there for someone right now who's listening to this is, hey, if someone comes and hands you a policy or a plan and says this is the right one for you and sits down at the table, you should start to have questions about whether or not you're in the right seat with the right person.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because one, you want to make sure the client understands what it is they're
complexity.
The complexity, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, lots of times, especially when people are turning 65, the first thing I do with them is Medicare 101. This is what Medicare Part A is. This is what Medicare Part B is.
Right.
These are your options. This is what it covers. This is what it doesn't cover. And then ask them questions. What's your lifestyle going to be? Are you going to be a snowbird and live in Arizona in the cold months? Are you going to buy that RV and travel the U.S.?
Right.
Are you just going to take that 2-week vacation to go spend some time at the beach with the grandkids? All of those factors come into play when we're deciding on a Medicare plan. In the under 65 market, lifestyle is not as big of a play, but it's still, what are your health needs? What is your budget? How often do you go to the doctor? Do you go for your annual wellness check? If not, why aren't you going? Oh, I didn't know it was paid for. I didn't know it wasn't going to cost me anything to have my wellness done. It's paid for. Go take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So those are conversations that you want to have that seem kind of surface level, but so important. But also, you want to show the strengths and the trade-offs of your plans and options. People have to know what's not going to work for them in the plan. And maybe that's okay. Maybe it's not something that's an issue for them. And again, it goes back to asking, are you comfortable taking on that risk? Or do you want to transfer that risk to the insurance company?
Love that question. It's a good question to think of as you're going through it.
Yeah.
Am I willing to take this risk, or am I willing to give it to someone else
Yep.
financially for
Yep.
a little bit? Do I have the capital to be okay with this cost, or do I want to let someone else deal with it?
Do I
over
want
time?
to let someone else take that on? So really, my job, Adam, it's not to sell a plan.
Right.
It's really to educate people and to make sure that they understand what their options are so that they can make an educated decision and the best decision for them.
I love that. So, we talked a little bit about all the complexities. We've talked a little bit about like what work actually looks like. But okay, you signed me up. Cool, great. We're working together. Amy, what all do you do that your clients never see?
Oh, gosh.
Is there a lot of work behind this? Because I feel like I hear my health guy or maybe that y'all just sign people up and go on to the next person and you're
Yeah,
done, right? Like
right.
that's it.
No,
you
sir.
So what are some of the things in the
Yeah,
back end that maybe
so-
a client who knows you really well today and we're talking maybe watches this podcast and says, I had no clue Blue Amy spends that much time on that.
So what people see, that's what they see. They see the appointment,
Yeah.
but what they don't see is all the hours that it takes to make sure that what I'm presenting is correct and it's current. So compliance is a big thing. There's ongoing education all the time, making sure that I'm compliant, making sure I'm doing what the carrier needs me to do, all those things. There's also for Medicare what's called AHIP, which stands for America's Health Insurance Plans, and that is a national program. We have to take that every year in order to sell Medicare. Between the content of the training and the exam, it takes about 6 to 8 hours. You cannot sell Medicare if you don't pass AHIP. So that starts in July. We start doing our AHIP. Once you pass AHIP, you then have what we call carrier certifications. And so you're taking training and an exam with every insurance company that you represent. They're not long, but they're time consuming in that you have to do every single carrier. And again, if you don't do that certification for that carrier, you can't sell for that insurance company that season.
Right.
So you have a window to do all of this. Reviewing annual plan changes. So we have carrier meetings, and some plans disappear altogether. Some plans change very minimally. Some plans change dramatically. Drug formulary checks. So we talked about that.
Yeah.
That the drug formulary can change. You've got to stay on top of that. And then just on a day-to-day service calls. Just, hey, I write somebody, following up. Did you get your insurance card? Maybe later down, hey, have you used your plan? Have you gone and got that wellness check, Adam?
Yeah. No, haven't.
Go-
yeah, I get
Go and get that.
Yeah. And then making sure that we're, obviously, we're probably calling you like, hey, I went to the doctor and something didn't go well or something wasn't fully covered
Yes.
that I thought should have been.
Yes.
So there's a lot of service behind that too.
Yeah, so it's just, advising them, okay, well, let's talk through it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a coding issue. Maybe it is covered and the doctor's office just didn't code it correctly. So let's visit that. Sometimes it's just, hey, I need to go to the dermatologist. Can you help me find a dermatologist that's in network? Sure, let me pull some up for you. Could be, it just depends. But it's ongoing.
How many people do you see get misbilled by chance, or that you get to help save?
Honestly, it's very few. Very
Some.
few issues like that. Does it come up? Absolutely. But it's not. It's not a regular thing. Yeah.
What's harder about this job than like most people think?
Yeah.
What's the hardest thing that you go through every day?
I think, you deal with this too as a salesperson. Anybody in the sales industry deals with this. Managing rejection without taking it personally.
Yeah.
And so, one of the things I have to tell myself is if I've educated that person, I've walked them through their options, I've explained the process, and they still say no, I've done my job.
Right.
That's now on them. They feel they've made that best decision for themselves. That's okay. Staying current with all the constant regulations. The government's involved.
Right.
So it's just, it's endless. We know the one thing that is constant in this business is that things are going to change.
Know nothing about that, the real estate world, but yeah, definitely
Yes.
get that. Yeah, change is important. So being able to be so we love a book. We have a book here called The Shift Book. So you have to be pretty shiftable.
You
in
do.
this
You
market.
gotta be-
You got to be able to understand how to be able to say, well, all right, we were here, now I got to get you there, and what's going to take to get you to that path that still keeps you successful, but maybe doesn't increase your budget. and things
Right,
like that.
right. So, or
that.
maybe I did the process this way, and now they're saying, no, we want you to do the process this way. So you got to be open. You got to be able to shift gears and keep going. A biggie is balancing volume with presence. So obviously I want to grow my business. I want to
Right.
grow my book of business.
Yeah.
But I want to be present for those I serve. I don't want to be so overwhelmed that I can't take that phone call when someone has a question.
So you got to understand how much you can take on and how much, because you really
Yes.
can't, you don't want an admin showing up to your appointment. You
Right.
want it to be you and creating that service.
Right, and I'm a one woman show, so
Yeah.
so there's a balance there that I have to keep.
Right
It's
on.
important to me, and I think taken on the emotional weight of people's health.
Yeah.
I want to be empathetic. I want to care for my clients, but I can't take that home.
Can't take them. Yeah, I could see
Yeah.
that would be easy to do.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I get that phone call. Amy, my husband passed away. We really appreciate everything you did for us. He passed away last week.
Yeah, it's got to be difficult to process too. So, not easy for
not
sure.
easy.
But
not easy,
but blessed.
Yes,
and great to be a
absolutely
part of.
blessed.
Yeah. We've talked a little bit about, the things that people don't see in your business and kind of the hard things and taking on the emotional weight of healthcare, which we all know is never simple, whether it become through life or death or new birth or turning 65. That's a lot of pressure to take on, and it certainly can't be easy. Was there a point ever earlier in your career where you're like, I don't know, I thought I saw this passion in Bath, like this is going to be right for me, and then you went, I don't know.
So early on, what I really struggled with is I tied my worth to outcomes. What was my commission? How many yeses did I get today? Where am I at in relationship to other agents in my company? What's my rank?
Yeah.
And now I've totally switched gears. I focus on the process. And if I fully, again, educate and walk them through that, and they're still saying no, I've done my job.
Yeah.
And I can walk away knowing I've done my job. But also, staying disciplined, believing in the service that I provide. I believe that what I provide people is so important and can be life-changing.
Literally the most important, if you got to ask me. I mean, I think I'm in an important field of helping people create memories, but I mean, here it's like life or death. So I think kind of is a bigger deal here.
So I believe I'm providing a great service to people. But then also doing personal growth work, choosing steadiness.
What's a personal growth work thing? Do you mean like do you books? You got a book or?
I do a lot of different
books.
A lot of different things, Adam. I do a lot of podcasts.
Podcasts?
Yeah, just things on. Could be something as simple as how to decrease your stress during the day.
Yeah, if I had to link a great one, it's Diary of a CEO. I absolutely love him, Stephen Bartlett.
Okay.
He's I just did one on sleep. I never knew how much impact sleep had on every day. So
yeah, biggie. It's a biggie.
So you do podcasts and like what else?
Yeah, I love Mel Robbins. She has a lot of
we had her at Family Reunion 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
Awesome. Yeah, we had Mel and Tony Robbins at the same event. It was really cool.
Yeah, so she has a lot of just real life practical stuff.
Yeah.
That it doesn't matter if you're a salesperson or you're a stay at home mom. It's stuff that you can use and it's easy to implement.
Yeah.
So I like a lot of that, but just personal growth in just like I said earlier, learning not to take no personally.
Yeah.
That's a growth step.
Yeah, it is.
Learning that acknowledgement is not the goal of this career.
Yeah.
And that was a biggie for me. I had to learn that I didn't need that to be successful.
It's super interesting because like we were just with Jay Shetty and he said that and we say it all the time. It's like if you're not growing, you're dying kind of thing.
Right.
So it's like that in the world of personal growth. So it sounds like to me you're really great with understanding you got to keep growing in some way, but that comes through failure, that comes through challenges, that comes through objections, but then also feeding yourself with, but that also comes with feeding yourself with great influencers like Mel or any of those podcasts.
Any of them. But also just, hey, when you have a bad day, reflect back and through personal growth, you reflect back and say, okay, what should I have done differently? What did I do great? What should I have done differently? How am I going to change this next time? And that's a growth step as well.
Yeah.
The
guy, I was out at the Ballantyne Park the other week, and there's a gentleman that does a really great like dad support group, and he walked by me and handed me a hat, and it's sticking with me forever right now. It said the hard days count.
Yeah, they do.
They still count.
They do count.
And I think for some reason we always want to say that the hard days don't matter and like we need to forget them, but I think we grow the most or learn the most in the hard days.
Absolutely.
So
because when you win, what do? You just celebrate.
Right.
You don't go, what did I do wrong? You just celebrate. But when you have a bad day, you're like, oh man, I could have done this and this and this, and I didn't. So
So you've had a bad day. What do you do to refuel yourself? Or a bad week with this
I
industry?
don't ever have a bad week.
Okay, that's good. So a bad day.
A bad day. I love to hit the gym. Just get in the weight room
Yeah.
and just forget about everything. That refreshes me. Getting out in nature. I love to grab my camera and just me in nature, and I never know what I'm going to see.
Yeah.
So it's an adventure, and it just clears my mind.
Cool.
So, but I really pick steadiness over emotion, and that kind of creates or eliminates the uncertainty for me.
What helped you stay committed when the outcomes weren't as obvious as you thought they should be?
Just staying focused. Go back to the basics. That's something that I think it's easy to forget. What are the basics? What got you to where you are now?
Yeah.
And, when you look back to when you first started as a realtor, or when I look back to when I first started as an agent and I had no clients, what did I do to get started? I did the basics.
Yeah.
And it applies whether you have one client or you have 1,000 clients. You got to do the basics.
What habits or routines matter for consistency in your field? So we've talked a little bit about, overcoming the hard days and things like that. Like what in your field just helps you flourish, and what are the habits that you need to do to stay consistent?
Daily prospecting, daily networking, every day. Focused on.
No different than me. Weird.
Yeah, it really is not.
Yeah.
And that can be something just as simple as meeting somebody like yourself for a cup of coffee, and just, Adam, how can I help you? Here's how you can help me.
Yeah.
Let's work together
Love
and
that.
help each other out, support each other. Having a follow-up system. I can't just write somebody and never talk to them again. I got to have some type of a follow-up system. So we here at Health Markets, we have a 30, 60, 90 process.
Cool.
30 days after we write, 60 days, 90 days. Touch and base. Reviewing plan changes with people. Hey, just giving you a heads up. This is how your plan's changing for the coming year. Are you okay with it? Do we want to make a switch? Time blocking. That's a biggie, because it's really easy to just come in, sit down at your desk at 8 a.m. and whatever comes at you, an email, a phone call, a text message, just deal with it at the time. You can't do that. So I really work hard at time blocking. This is the time I'm going to read my emails and return emails. This is the time I'm going to do voicemails. This is the time I'm going to go to the gym, and I'm going to have some me time. I'm going to have some Amy time. That's really important. And then staying healthy. I got to focus on my health, because if I'm not healthy and well and strong, I can't serve the people I need to serve.
Yeah, and since I've known you, you've crushed that.
I have crushed that. Thank you for
crushed
noticing.
that. Killed that, actually. You came in one week, and I was like, I haven't been in B&I enough, because Amy just came in with the guns. I was like, what happened?
Thank you.
But it's awesome. It's a good positive thing. So yeah, I definitely switched that a lot for you too. So, how do you stay organized and emotionally present when you have 100 people you're dealing with? Because I don't know about you, but we're just dealing with 4 a month. So I might see 36 people all year. If you've got hundreds. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
How do you stay emotionally present for that? And
Yeah.
what are you doing to be successful with that?
Sure. So throughout the year, it's okay. It's a challenge, but it's not difficult. Where it really becomes the challenge is during open enrollment and annual enrollment, when those hundreds of people all need to be served at one time.
Right.
But I have great systems that are provided by my company, Health Markets.
Cool.
CRM that tracks my book of business. Who do I need to call? Who's a priority? Who can I move down the list? Before going into appointment, I set my intentions. So, especially with Medicare, I'm going to get as much information up front as possible. Who's their doctors? What are their prescription drugs? I do that on the under 65 market as well.
Yeah.
Get their information. So I know going into that appointment kind of what direction we're going to go in. I'm still going to take my time, sit down with them, talk to them, ask them questions. But I have an intention and I have a goal when I'm heading into that appointment. I want to take my time. That's a biggie. Not feel rushed. And that really goes back to increasing my volume, but keeping that balance.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be rushed and then I miss something, or all of a sudden the client doesn't feel like they were heard
Yeah.
because I'm doing this during the appointment. Got to go. Got to
On to
go.
the next person.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
So I really don't try to take control of the outcome. I want to just focus on clarity
Gotcha.
and education.
Yeah. And so we've talked a little bit about like your discipline in the industry and like how to help you, and like maybe someone on here is in this market and listening a little bit about some tips that they could take away. What did you have to become to serve people at this level?
Yeah. So I think the number one thing was I had to become more confident in my knowledge. And maybe this is something you experienced too. You passed your realtor test.
Yeah,
You
you
had-
think you know it all.
That's right. You
I've
knew
got
it
the
all.
access.
You knew it all. But now you get out in the real world and you're like, what do I do with this knowledge? What do
Yeah.
So becoming more confident in that knowledge and knowing how to apply it to real life situations.
Because like every person is different.
Every person is different.
Every interaction is different. Every beginning
Everything.
to end is different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Same experience.
And you can't go back to that book and go, I think I read that in chapter 3. Let me look that up.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
Doesn't come out that easily at all,
No.
for sure.
So, but I had great sales support. I had great tools. So if you're somebody that's getting into a business like this, use your tools, use your resources, ask
Yeah.
questions. Don't be afraid to say, I don't know the answer, but I know where to go to find it. And sometimes you don't have to know everything. That's the key, is you need to know where to find the information.
Yeah. And that's a tough one sometimes to be okay with.
Yes,
You
it is
gotta
a
go
it
find
is a big one, but you got
Yeah.
to do that. I had to become more detached from needing approval. Like I wanted that recognition that I made a sale today.
Wait, you wanted to be patted on the back for doing your
Yes,
job? Like, wait,
yes.
wait.
And I had to let that go and go, it's not a big deal. That's what you're supposed to do. Good job, Amy. You did your job.
Yeah.
But just also to being more comfortable with asking for the business.
Yeah.
I had to, and that a lot of that came from being more confident in the knowledge, knowing I was doing the right thing by asking, "Do you want this product?" Because I think it's the right thing for you.
Yeah. And then asking someone else.
Yeah.
Do they have someone else that wants a similar experience? to what you
Exactly,
had today?
exactly. Asking for those referrals.
Yeah. And so this is a good, fun question I like to ask everyone on this podcast so far is, what did you have to let go of and unlearn when you first started?
Yeah. So, like I've said, needing that acknowledgement, I had to let go of that. Over explaining to justify the value of something.
Gotcha.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
And sometimes silence is your number one sales tool.
Yeah. Well, I
Just-
love that favorite quote I get. I use sometimes with my kids, especially. I say God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a
Exactly.
reason. We
Yep.
should be listening to the client more than we're speaking the entire time we're in an appointment.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
with you on that.
Also, making coverage gaps not think they're no big deal. That was how I was when I first started. Like, who wants to deliver the bad news? Hey, this is a good plan, but now I got to tell you the bad parts.
Yeah.
And that was uncomfortable for me. Now I'm like, that's part of the process. Part
Yeah.
of the process is to present the pros and the cons.
Right.
And here's the cons.
everything.
Of everything. Yeah.
Making the best choice on yours.
So I really had to stop shrinking my own expertise just to make people comfortable.
Gotcha. Oh, that's
You know?
a big one. So shrinking your expertise to make people uncomfortable. Expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, so
Wait.
it's sharing my knowledge. I had to keep in mind I got to share all my knowledge. And yes, this may be bad news, and it's going to make you a little uncomfortable. But if I don't tell you, I'm leaving you
A little bit of-
uninformed.
a little bit of a disservice.
Yeah, disservice. Absolutely.
We've talked a lot today about a bunch of different aspects, whether it be the complexity of Medicare. We've talked a little bit about, your lifestyle in this business. We've talked a little bit about what you do behind the scenes. If someone felt confused or overwhelmed by health or medical decisions right now today,
Yep.
what's the first thing you're going to tell them that they should do?
Yeah, you're not alone. You're not behind. Health insurance, Medicare is confusing by design. And your first step isn't to pick a plan. Your first step is to get with somebody like me that can sit down with you, explain the process, explain those pros, explain those cons,
Yeah.
so that you can make an educated decision. And when somebody finishes an appointment with me, I don't want them to feel like they've just been sold. I want them to feel that they've been informed, they feel steady, they feel calm about their decision.
Yeah, and making sure we don't get the red flag of walking in and being handed a policy and being told that it's good to go.
Exactly.
So if they're looking for that, now they've heard this message and they're saying, all right, finally I got to do this and I want to find Amy T.
Yep.
How do they find an expert like you, or where should they go to find you at Health Market?
Yeah, so an easy way to find me is online. They can just go to healthmarkets.com/ATWARY.
Okay.
And there's a contact form there. They can find me on Facebook, Health Markets /Amy Twary. They can call me.
Got you. Instagram, TikTok?
Instagram. I signed up for TikTok, but I haven't done anything
Okay,
with it
well,
yet.
you have some opportunities for TikToks now. But okay.
So
And so they'll do Health Markets /Amy T.
A/ATWARY.
ATWARY. All right, perfect. And what do you want to leave if you had to leave one thing left behind on this podcast? What was one thing you'd want to leave with me?
I would want to leave that everybody needs a health insurance Medicare agent. Our services are free, but the value we provide is priceless.
Yeah, I would agree. And so everyone, thank you so much, Amy, for coming on today and
Thank
talking
you.
so much about something that's really important to me. And I hope, again, that I'm looking directly at the camera at my parents. They're going to listen to this podcast and also think deeply about what it looks like for 2026 and 2027. I know we're probably talking more about 27 than we are 26 at this point,
okay.
and that's okay. But, again, thanks everyone for listening today. I'm Adam Sellers with the Queen City Sellers team. If you'd love to reach out to me, you can reach out to me at 980-288-9184, or you can find me on Instagram at Special Agent 704, same thing on TikTok. And we'd love for you to like and subscribe on our channel to hear more great people like you. Thanks, y'all. Have a great day. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you, Adam.